Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. So, yesterday I got out the top 10 worst of WWE in 2018. Well, now it's time to talk about the top 10 best of WWE in 2018. You probably might agree with me, and probably not disagree with me. But, let's go. Number 10, the Men's Royal Rumble match. This year's Royal Rumble match had to have been the best I've ever seen. It had to have been on the caliber of the 1992 Royal Rumble. There was so much great star power in there. I mean, go back and watch the match. Look at all the star power that was in there. And even the surprise entrance took us all by surprise. Andrade Cien Almas, Adam Cole, the Hurricane, and Rey Mysterio. And it all ended the right way with Shinsuke Nakamura getting his moment of fame. He was put in this horrible feud with Jinder Mahal the year before, so he really deserved this. Even though he would go to lose at WrestleMania and turn heel, and then win the United States Championship, and then just lose it this past Tuesday on Smackdown. But, what are you going to do? Either way, this year's Royal Rumble had to have been the best by far. Number 9, NXT UK. 2018 is the year that finally Triple H and WWE pulled the trigger on NXT UK. And they released it and they put it on display. As of right now, they are entering their first NXT UK takeover in Blackpool, England. And so far, I think it's been going pretty good. There's so many great talent. Probably some they just stole from ICW, Revolution Pro, and Progress. But, what are you going to do? So many great talent, so many great stories to come, and so many great wrestlers. Pete Dunne, Trent Seven, Tyler Bates, Wolfgang, the Coffee Brothers, Noam Dar, Jordan Devlin, Flash Morgan Webster, and even the women's division. Rhea Ripley, Zaya Brookside, Dakota Kai, Toni Storm, Nina Samuels, Ginny, Carla Kelly. NXT UK looks to be promising for years to come. Number 8, 205 Live, Born Again. Thanks to the Enzo Amore scandal by the beginning of this year, Vince McMahon decided to step down for writing for 205 Live, and Triple H took over, and it's always a good thing when Triple H is in charge. 205 Live has been amazing this year. From the Cruiserweight Championship tournament at the beginning of the year, to Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander becoming Cruiserweight champions, going to 205 Live really helped Buddy Murphy's career. And the Lucha House Party, Hideo Itami's heel turn, Brian Kendrick turning face, and the amazing display of athleticism and skill by Mustafa Ali. 205 Live looks to be amazing for years to come, even though I might have just lost Mustafa Ali, but still. Number 7, Raw 25 and SmackDown 1000. Raw and SmackDown hit major milestones this year. First, Raw celebrated 25 years of being in the company, and all the great stars were there for this one special. Meanwhile, SmackDown celebrated 1,000 episodes later this year. While I think it was less hyped up than Raw 25, I feel like it really delivered. Raw 25 had so many great legends come back: Stone Cold, Vince McMahon, the Dudley Boys, DX, The Undertaker, and so many great managers came back, like John Laurinaitis, well, I don't know if he's all that great, and Eric Bischoff. And what's even special about that, that was the Go Home Raw before Royal Rumble, so it really delivered. Meanwhile, later this year, SmackDown 1000 had some of its greatest moments too. That opening segment with the McMahons, R-Truth, and Carmella, the reunion of Evolution, which I find kind of nonsensical because Evolution was on Raw during the Stable's existence, and an amazing match between Rey Mysterio and Shinsuke Nakamura. While I think SmackDown 1000 was less celebrated than Raw 25, I feel like both of these shows felt like they were celebrated this year today. Number 6, Daniel Bryan's comeback. Since 2014, Daniel Bryan was butting heads with WWE. From first being injured and then having to vacate the WWE Championship. Then him coming back and then him winning the Intercontinental Championship, only to give that up just to retire again. He officially retired on 2016 for the time being. Yep, later this year, Daniel Bryan was finally cleared to wrestle once again, and what a year he has been. From winning his first match back at WrestleMania, that god-awful feud between him and Big Cass, the reunion of Team Hell No, him finally shutting up The Miz, him turning heel, and winning back the WWE Championship. Daniel Bryan's 2018 has been crazy and amazing, and we hope for more hopes for him and his new character in 2019. Number 5, the year of heel turns. Speaking of Daniel Bryan's new character, a big trend that happened this year in 2018 was heel turns. Although I kind of like 7 good ones and a few bad ones. The 7 good ones was Roderick Strong turning heel on Pete Dunne at NXT TakeOver New Orleans and joining the Undisputed Era. Shinsuke Nakamura turning heel and low-blowing AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Randy Orton stomping Jeff Hardy's lower body parts, as I'm going to say, to keep family friendly for this video, at Extreme Rules. Becky Lynch turning heel at SummerSlam, probably having the run of her life as of this moment. Johnny Gargano turning heel and revealing himself as Aleister Black's attacker. Dean Ambrose turning heel on Seth Rollins, which I think was very poorly timed because this was on the same episode of Raw where Roman Reigns was diagnosed with leukemia. And Daniel Bryan turning heel and winning the WWE Championship, as I just mentioned. These 7 heel turns really made this year amazing. Some of their characters right now, some of the heel characters right now might not be good for them right now in the direction they're going as of this moment, but I really think that these heel turns were amazing this year. Number 4, Drew McIntyre and Becky Lynch. These two were so good this year, I decided to put them together. First, I'll start with Drew McIntyre. After returning from injury and being called to the main roster from NXT, Drew McIntyre has been amazing this year. Well, yeah, he was teamed up with Dolph Ziggler, which is kind of unnecessary, but he won the Raw Tag Team Championships. He made Kurt Angle submit, and as of this moment, he is about to clash with Dolph Ziggler tonight on Raw. Drew McIntyre has had the run of his life in 2018, and hopefully, here's to a potential Universal Championship reign in the near future. However, on SmackDown, Becky Lynch, as I just mentioned, who turned heel at SummerSlam and probably is on the run of her life. Being called herself the Man, Becky Lynch is probably become the most popular and over superstar anyone has ever seen. People are now referring to her as the female Stone Cold. At Hell in a Cell 2018, they finally should have done what they did what they finally should have done a few months ago and put the SmackDown Women's Championship on her right now. Sure, she may have lost it at TLC, but there's no doubt that this year was Becky Lynch's best year. Becky Lynch and Drew McIntyre were amazing this year. Number 3, Seth Rollins, Intercontinental Champion. Say what you want about the Miz's Intercontinental title reign in last year, because I really don't think that was so distasteful, okay? After Seth Rollins won the Intercontinental Championship from The Miz and Finn Balor in a triple threat match at WrestleMania, I feel like this Intercontinental Championship reign was probably the best. Before losing it on the Raw after Money in the Bank to Dolph Ziggler, he defended it against anybody. The Miz, Finn Balor, Mojo Rawley, Elias, and the aforementioned Dolph Ziggler, with the two feuding for the rest of the summer over the title. After finally winning back at SummerSlam, I feel like he didn't defend it much. Like, he was only defended that one time on Raw and that one time against Dolph Ziggler, and before losing it to Dean Ambrose at TLC. Other way, Seth Rollins is now a two-time Intercontinental Champion, and he won both those, and he claimed both of those reigns this year. And I really think that Seth Rollins has to go up there with one of the best Intercontinental Champions. Number 2, the women take over. The women have been have been put on a pedestal in the last 3 years. Well, we really don't want to count the Divas Revolution in 2015 because that was really stupid. But in 2016 and 2017 and 2018, the women have taken over and proven that they can square up next to the guys. This year, we saw the first ever Elimination Chamber, Women's Elimination Chamber match, the first ever Royal Rumble Women's Royal Rumble match, and the first ever Women's Battle Royal at WrestleMania. And we've already seen Alexa Bliss cash in at Money in the Bank, and Ronda Rousey and Asuka are the SmackDown Women and Raw Women's Championships as of this moment. And all these events leading up to the first ever all-women's pay-per-view Evolution, which had the best women's match in Charlotte versus Becky Lynch, and a screwy and a BS finish match with Shayna Baszler and Kairi Sane, with Duke and Shafir, as I mentioned, and Ronda Rousey squashing Nikki Bella. Yes, squashing Nikki Bella. Either way, other than those little nitpicks, the women have proved that they can live up to the men. And here's the hoping that they can have intergender wrestling back into WWE. Before I move on to my number 1, I didn't do it yesterday, but I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions, the stuff that happened outside of WWE. TNA is relevant again. Impact, or TNA, whatever you want to call it, has proven that they can live up the WWE. They have been amazing this year. Bound for Glory main event aside, think about all the talent that it has scooped up and all the amazing storylines that has happened this year. Amazing rivalries like Edwards versus Callahan versus Pentagon, the OGs versus LAX, Taya Valkyrie versus Tessa Blanchard, Allie turning demonic, Su Yung, Joe Henry and Grado versus Katarina. That was stupid. And Scarlett Bordeaux as with the Smoke Show. Amazing wrestlers, amazing male wrestlers. Just hear some of the names of the roster as of right now. Brian Cage, Pentagon Jr., Ray Phoenix, Johnny Impact, the LAX, the OGs, Tessa Blanchard, Su Yung, Allie, Taya Valkyrie. This year, TNA has really proven that it can stand up to WWE. Bullet Club is fine. This was one of the biggest stories in all of WWE, in all of 2018, outside of WWE. It all started when Kenny Omega stopped Cody Rhodes from beating Kota Ibushi with a steel chair. Then, in Sapporo, Cody Rhodes crossroads Kenny Omega, leading to the reunion of the Golden Lovers, Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega. At Supercard of Honor in April, the Young Bucks superkicked Kenny Omega when they were really going for Cody Rhodes. And then at the G1 Climax this year, Tama Tonga, Tangaloa, and Haku turned on BC Elites, forming the two to reunite again, forming Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes to become friends again. All these events were then led up to probably one of the greatest independent wrestling shows of all time, All In. All In, everybody, the whole crew, we're all crossing what was the match of the night. I said it was Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. Chappie said it was Hangman Page versus Joey Janela. Georgie said it was a 6-man. Tony said it was Flip Gordon versus Jay Lethal. And Armando said it was Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll. Like, All In was that good. We couldn't even pick we couldn't even pick a match of the night. Bullet Club is fine. Was probably one of the best stories of all time outside of WWE, and with all Elite Wrestling coming up shortly, or if the Elite might go to the WWE, we hope for the best for them in the future. And the number one best thing that happened to WWE in 2018 is the year of NXT. NXT always seems to do it to subdue itself every year to prove that it can be better than the main roster. Sure, we say that every year. NXT has been amazing this year, but I really feel like 2018 was the year of NXT. Every NXT takeover this year was amazing. Philadelphia, New Orleans, Chicago 2, Brooklyn 4, War Games 2. All 5 takeovers really lived up to the hype and made the fans really happy. And everything in NXT here was everything in NXT this year was amazing. Andrade Cien Almas, Johnny Gargano gave WWE its first 5-star match since 2011. Aleister Black's reign to the top. The story between Gargano and Ciampa. The rivalry between Baszler and Kairi Sane. And Velveteen Dream's rise to popularity. Even Tommaso Ciampa's title reign as of this moment is amazing right now. The women of NXT have taken over. The tag teams have proven to be some of the greatest. And the Undisputed Era at its best. There's no doubt that this year was NXT's best year of all time. Well, everybody, that is what I thought was the best of WWE in 2018. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure you tune in for January 7th to January 11th for the top 50 greatest moments in Ring of Honor history and us predicting the entire Royal Rumble 2019 match. And the reason all these videos are coming out is because I will be starting school again. I will be starting college again in January 22nd. So I want to get all these videos out before that specific date because we might have to go into another hiatus. But either way, make sure you tune in for those videos. Click the bell, subscribe button, put a like on the video, and share wherever you want. I will see you all in the next video.